During a zombie apocalypse, the entire world has become overrun by the undead and now referred to as Zombieland. Amid the chaos, a man named Columbus has managed to survive by following a set of simple but effective rules. These include staying physically fit, double-tapping zombies to ensure they're truly dead, being extra cautious when entering bathrooms to avoid surprise attacks, and always wearing a seatbelt. The outbreak started 2 months ago, with the first known victim being someone who ate a burger contaminated with the zombie virus. Since then, Columbus has believed he might be the last human left alive. This belief keeps him moving, and when a group of zombies starts chasing him, he escapes by continuing to run. At one point, a zombie appears in the backseat of a car he's in, but he narrowly manages to get away. The zombie crashes into a wall, which flings it through the windshield and gives Columbus the chance to flee. He doesn't know whether his parents are still alive, but he's heading home in hopes of finding them. While walking along the highway, a car comes up behind him. Both Columbus and the driver aim their guns at each other, but the driver, a man named Tallahassee, steps out. After realizing Tallahassee isn't infected, Columbus joins him, remembering to check the back seat as per his own survival rule. The two decide to travel together, as they're both going in the same direction. Tallahassee has a soft spot for a snack called Twinkies and is determined to find some, so Columbus agrees to help him on that mission. During a stop for a bathroom break, Columbus opens up about his biggest fear: clowns. He recalls a moment from his college days when the girl he had a crush on showed up at his door in a panic. She hugged him, grateful that he opened the door, and then told him about a disturbing encounter with a homeless man who suddenly ran at her and tried to bite her for no clear reason. After she confirms that he is okay, she sleeps on his shoulder. But when he finally wakes up, he finds that the woman has turned into a zombie and is chasing him around his room. He manages to fend her off, but she attacks him once again. This is the exact moment when he first comes up with the idea for his survival rules. He ends the encounter by hitting her on the head, and finally, she dies. Columbus has heard about a location that is unaffected by all this, but Tallahassee believes it is a fabrication. More than anything, Tallahassee is motivated to find the Twinkies, and he is obsessed with finishing off the zombies. While they are at the supermarket, Tallahassee takes his gun from the trunk of the vehicle. He plays the banjo to lure the zombies out of the supermarket when they arrive. He finishes off one with the banjo and another with a pair of pruning shears. Suddenly, a beautiful young woman named Wichita comes and asks for help, and Abide has happened to her younger sister named Little Rock. Wichita tells Columbus that their only goal is to relieve her sister's suffering. As Tallahassee prepares to carry out the plan, Wichita declares that she will do it. But it turns out that she is only pretending by pointing a gun at them and demanding that they hand over the keys to her vehicle, guns, and ammunition. As they drive, the girls discuss their destination, which is a fantasy land or a theme park, a location that is supposed to be free of zombies. During this time, the guys spend time looking for another vehicle. They find a yellow truck that turns out to be well-armed. As part of their celebration, Tallahassee fires several guns before leaving the scene. The girls become the target of Tallahassee's desire for revenge, but Columbus advises them to forget about him and continue their journey home. As they continue their journey, they come across a car on the highway with help written on the side. Tallahassee checks it out, but finds it abandoned, assuming it is broken down. He sends a signal to Columbus, telling him to move the yellow truck next to the car. Upon entering, Tallahassee discovers that Little Rock has crawled into the back of the vehicle. She puts a gun to Tallahassee's head and then pulls the gun from him. Columbus starts honking, and Wichita follows suit. After that, she climbs into the vehicle, and the three of them drive off together. Since the beginning of their existence, Wichita and her sister have liked to trick people in flashbacks. After some time has passed, they finally come to an agreement and decide to continue their journey together. While Wichita tells Columbus that a fire has destroyed her residence, Tallahassee makes fun of the idea that the fantasy land is completely free of zombies. After they have driven all night, Wichita finally offers Columbus the chance to get out of the vehicle and get into another car. She decides that she would rather they stay together. Sooner or later, Tallahassee asks them to stop at a deli. After finishing off a zombie, they look around. Tallahassee realizes that Columbus has a thing for Wichita as he starts eyeing perfume. The situation escalates into a violent ruckus, which leads to the four of them destroying the business together. Columbus comes to the conclusion that Tallahassee is right in recognizing the importance of appreciating the little things in life. They continue their journey and decide to stay together until they reach Fantasyland. They reach an area of famous places frequented by celebrities and pick up a map that is scattered on the floor. As they search for a celebrity's house to sleep in, they open the map. Once they find the residence of one of the artists, they begin their hunt. There is an artist named Bill pretending to be a zombie. Wichita hits Bill with a golf club after meeting him, thinking he is a zombie. Actually, he is just disguised as a zombie to fit in with the zombie crowd. Even so, Columbus still doesn't know about Bill being a fake zombie, and he immediately fires a shot into Bill's chest. As a result, Bill is dying, and finally, he dies. As a tribute to him, they carry his corpse outside and fire guns. That night, they engage in a game of Monopoly and discuss the interesting and uninteresting things about this zombie land. At some point, Wichita brings a bottle of wine to Columbus, and they share a glass together. He takes a liking to her, and the two of them dance together. Unfortunately, Tallahassee arrives just in time to prevent the dance from turning into a kissing exchange. The next day, the girls, without the men, run away again. Wichita tells Little Rock that she almost jigs Columbus due to his misunderstanding of their first rule, which states that they should not trust anyone other than the two of them. They come to the fantasy land at a later time and force their way through the gates upon arrival. After Wichita's departure, Columbus is confused. Wichita turns on the electricity of the fantasy land, leaving Little Rock completely stunned. Some zombies who notice the light from a distance start exploring. Even as the zombies get closer, the girls are having fun on a playground until the zombies force the girls to flee. Once they get into the vehicle, they drive off. As there are zombies perched on the top of the truck, they are forced to jump down and let the vehicle go into the water. As they continue to fire their guns by running, more zombies chase after them. Columbus decides to pursue Wichita, and since Tallahassee is willing to go to the neighboring state, Columbus says goodbye. He rides his motorcycle, but ends up tripping and falling. As he approaches her in the car, Tallahassee offers to take her to meet the girls, and she agrees to help him. While the zombies gather below them, the girls head to a ride to get high. To stop the ride from slowly descending, Little Rock fires the control box. After arriving at the fantasy land, Columbus and Tallahassee immediately begin to root out the undead. When the girls see them approaching, Wichita advises them to immediately start formulating a plan on how they would express their regret to the men. Tallahassee creates a distraction, making the zombies chase after him. As Columbus attempts to rescue the women, he knocks them down with several blows. The zombies chase him, leading him to a haunted mansion. In addition, other zombies begin climbing onto the ride to capture the girls. Columbus secures himself into a cubicle, and from a safe place, he fires his gun at the zombies around him. As soon as Columbus manages to escape the terrifying house, Wichita urges him to move quickly. An encounter with a zombie clown occurs as he approaches. He decides to overcome his fear and starts hitting him with a hammer, and finally he dies. She then presses the emergency release button on the ride. As a result, they both return to the ground, and Columbus and Wichita end up exchanging a passionate kiss. The next step is for them to go to the supermarket for some Twinkies. Hearing a strange sound, Columbus accidentally destroys the entire box of Twinkies, and Tallahassee is disappointed. Wichita suddenly arrives by car, and Columbus realizes that these people are as close as his own family. 10 years later, Columbus's voice informs him of the developments in Zombieland since his and his friend's last appearance. Columbus, Tallahassee, Wichita, and Little Rock take out a bunch of zombies in front of the presidential palace before choosing to make themselves comfortable inside. They spend a lot of time there, making it their home. But Little Rock gradually grows bored and wants to find other survivors of her own age. Another thing she dislikes is the way Tallahassee continues to treat her like a child. Columbus and Wichita are aware of Little Rock's displeasure, but they deliberately avoid contact with possible survivors. During this time, they both remain strong as a couple, but when Columbus decides to propose to Wichita with a Twinkie ring, she begins to feel unsure and skeptical about the proposal. The next day, Columbus and Tallahassee discover the message the girls have left with Tallahassee's vehicle in the morning. As a result, Columbus experiences a sense of disappointment and despair. While on the road, Wichita and Little Rock meet Berkeley, a rather racy survivor. After a month of spending time together, the men go to a shopping mall where they find some zombies. In an attempt to get rid of the zombies, they meet Madison, a survivor who survives after entering a refrigerator to avoid the zombies. She is filled with great joy after finding not only a survivor, but also a man. Columbus manages to persuade the initially hesitant Tallahassee to take Madison with them. She woos him, But Columbus, who still misses Wichita, is not ready to move on. He tries to persuade her, and when Madison threatens to go on an exciting activity with Tallahassee, Columbus takes the opportunity. As soon as they hear a commotion in the neighborhood, they realize that it's Wichita who has returned for the guns. She reasons that Little Rock likes Berkeley, to the point that Little Rock dares to leave her sister alone to go out with her boyfriend. Wichita then realizes that Columbus is now with Madison, and she is clearly not happy with this development. The four of them then set out to find Little Rock, but Tallahassee is disappointed to see that the mode of transportation is a crappy car, and he complains constantly about not riding in a cool car. The group sees a tour bus and an ice cream truck featuring clowns. Columbus, who is still afraid of clowns, chooses the tour bus as his mode of transportation. When Madison opens the door of the tour bus, she accidentally sounds the alarm, which can still go off and attracts the attention of the zombies around. One of the zombies almost bites Madison's leg before Columbus manages to finish it off. After that, they find a zombie that doesn't die immediately with a few hits, so more bullets are needed until Tallahassee stomps on its head until it shatters, and finally the zombie dies. The group refers to the harder-to-kill zombie as T-800, a nickname for the good robot in the excellent Terminator 2 movie. Subsequently, the group embarks on a bus trip, only to have their bus tire blow out on the way. When Columbus refuses to accept the ice cream van, they have to continue the journey back in the rickety car. In an attempt to drive to the designated location, Little Rock and Berkeley sing together while talking to each other. As the others travel to Little Rock's destination, they eat peanuts, and that's when Madison starts to feel sick. She starts vomiting, and her skin begins to look horrible. After pulling over, Columbus follows her into the forest and tries to calm her down. Before he returns to Tallahassee, he has no choice but to draw his gun, and he eventually fires his weapon. Wichita and the other three reach Little Rock's destination, but can't find her. They keep driving until they find a light at a Twinkie house, which turns out to be a home for fans of an artist. A woman named Nevada greets them as they enter the premises, pointing her gun at the three men before realizing they pose no threat. She tells Wichita that Little Rock and Berkeley have gone again to a location where there is already a community. At night, she gives the three of them permission to stay. Meanwhile, Berkeley continues to drive with Little Rock until they arrive at a place called Babylon, a safe haven for survivors. Upon their arrival, Babylon's strict gun laws force Little Rock to surrender her firearms. As a result, Babylon destroys the weapons. Upon leaving the house the next day, Tallahassee discovers a crazy car moving toward their car. Albuquerque and Flagstaff are two places very similar to Tallahassee and Columbus. Tallahassee and Albuquerque compete with each other, while Columbus and Flagstaff have different rules or orders. Some T-800 zombies start attacking after they have been hanging around for a while, so Albuquerque and Flagstaff take care of them. Upon learning that Albuquerque and Flagstaff have been bitten and turned into the same super zombie, the others are forced to exterminate them. Tallahassee smashes Albuquerque's skull with a guitar, while Flagstaff is headshot by Nevada, and finally they die. The three prepare to begin their journey to continue their quest to Babylon, with Nevada to follow. On the way, Tallahassee and Columbus discover that Madison is still alive and operating an ice cream truck. As it turns out, she is just having an allergic reaction to the consumption of peanuts, and Columbus doesn't actually have the heart to finish her off. Afterward, the group is required to surrender their weapons once they reach Babylon. They meet up with Little Rock again, who seems content and doesn't think that her friends will arrive. By nightfall, Tallahassee decides that the others should stay in Babylon, while he plans to go to the neighboring country like his old destination. As he is driving, he sees a large army of T-800 zombies heading towards Babylon. The fireworks that explode in celebration draw them to Babylon. He returns to warn everyone, emphasizing that they must fight back to protect themselves. So, Tallahassee devises a strategy to attack the zombies using gasoline and fireworks. This is due to the lack of firearms in the area. After preparing the gas tank, the group uses lights to attract the zombies. Although the explosion is huge, it does not completely eliminate the zombie horde. The four main guys give up on their fate and band together, preparing for the end of their lives, but then Nevada arrives with her crazy tilted car. With that crazy tilted car, she ends up running over some zombies. Unfortunately, an explosion overturns the tilted crazy car, forcing the group to continue fleeing. The group then decides to climb in. Tallahassee implements the second plan, and together with the rest of the group, he heads to the highest tower in Babylon. The zombies chase Tallahassee, and the survivors defend themselves by forming a line with shields. He jumps over the edge and holds onto a hook while the super zombies fall to their deaths. However, 2 zombies manage to interfere with Tallahassee's legs, which almost causes him to fall from his position. But Little Rock pulls out the gun she is secretly carrying and shoots them, and Tallahassee survives. The crew then helps Tallahassee and brings him back to safety. Wichita then decides to accept the proposal made by Columbus, and they passionately kiss again. The group, which now includes Nevada, sets off to continue their adventure. The movie ends with Columbus musing that he no longer needs to find a home, as he already has one with his friends, and finally, they still end up facing the zombie apocalypse. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification so you don't miss the latest recaps. Thanks for watching and wish you good health.